I'm Jem Madrone, and tonight I'm going to talk about surrender. So, surrender is one of those words that we all hear and don't necessarily know what it means or how to do it. And what we're talking about tonight is surrender with a capital S, the big surrender as it applies to the process of spiritual transformation. And, this comes up because there are oftentimes in this process of growth and transformation where we get to the point where we get stuck. We just don't know what else to do. We often feel like we can't see clearly or can't see straight, and we have no idea what's next. We really have no idea what's going on. And this can happen over and over in the process. It often happens in the beginning when things get intense, but as we move to new levels of consciousness, it often comes up again where we feel like we are being forced to let go of everything that we thought we knew. And we start to question, is any of this real? Is any of this true? What do I do next? I just feel completely lost. And maybe you lay in bed at night feeling all this anxious energy running through your body, and you're like, I just know I need to surrender, but I don't know how. And what am I surrendering to? And so it's kind of a beautiful process because surrender is something that we can't do. We can't force it. We can't create a surrender. It's something that happens. And it happens when we let go of the control. We let go of trying to tell the universe what to do. We let go of the idea that we can keep ourselves safe by, controlling our environment, by controlling our experience, because we start to see that that's not working either. And so we just have to let go. And this surrender is a big part of the egoic death process, because when that happens, when we have an egoic death experience, we are forced to surrender, because death really is the ultimate surrender. We render up our physical form back to spirit, back to the realm of spirit, and we return back to the realm of spirit. And so egoic death is the ultimate surrender in the process of transformation, because we just have to let go completely. No matter how it happened, whether it's through trauma, through a mystical experience, through a plant medicine experience, through something just spontaneous happening, when we have that egoic death experience, we just surrender. And what we're surrendering to is we're surrendering to our big self. We're surrendering the small self to the big self. Because the small self is the one that says that I'm in control here. I can make things happen. If I can just make things exactly how I want them, I will be safe. Everything will be perfect. That's the small self, the egoic self. But this process requires us to surrender that small self to the big self, to the authentic self, to the part of us that is unlimited, the part of us that never dies, and the part of us that is divine. And so we're surrendering that small self, that small will, to the big self, which is directly connected to the divine that's all around us, that runs through everything. And it can be extremely frightening because we don't know what's going to happen when we surrender. We're surrendering to the unknown. We're surrendering to something bigger than us. But we do know when we let go of that control, when we do surrender, that everything changes. Everything changes. And so we have these moments of surrender throughout the process. And the way that we can cultivate them is just by being willing and by letting go of control and by switching the power structure from the mind to the heart, taking our attention away from all of the thoughts and all of the words and all of the chaos in the mind and moving it down into the heart. And that's how we practice surrender and prepare for the bigger moments of surrender. And so one of the other questions we got in the group when I was asking for suggestions was about what does it mean when people say that they've gotten as far as they've gotten in the process, that they've made as much progress as they've gotten because they've had so many deaths, something like that. Talking about how people maybe express how they have transformed because of a certain amount of egoic death experiences. And my translation of that is because they've surrendered, because they've had many moments of surrendering the small self to the big self and of letting go of that control. And really that is the part of the process that propels us the most, because we're moving into something bigger and we're releasing all of the things that have kept us trapped in this 3D world, all of these things that have kept us connected to our ego, and we're instead moving in to our authenticity, moving into the realm of the divine, into something that's so much bigger. And so when people say they've had many egoic death experiences or died many times, and that has been what has gotten them to the point where they are, it's because they've had those experiences where they've disconnected from the ego, from the small self, from the 3D reality, and opened up into something bigger. And so I want to acknowledge that surrender is so hard. And we get to the point, because I said that we can't do surrender, we usually get to the point of extreme frustration before it happens, unless it's something that happens quickly, traumatically, dramatically, and we're just forced to do it. But it usually takes us getting to the point of complete frustration, where we just let go and we just stop. We stop trying so hard. And so for all of you that are at that point of frustration right now, sending you so much love and support and encouragement to just stop and to release that control and to surrender, open up, move into something much bigger than this small self. And if this resonates with you, if this is something you're experiencing, or you're having other issues with this process of awakening and you would like some guidance, send me a private message and we can see if the work that I do with my clients would be a good fit for you. So sending you all so much love. If you have any questions, leave them here in the group. And thank you guys for listening. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a good night.